Hi there. This evening I'm just going to do a very loose pen and wash of a boat beached on the shore. This is my reference image. I've got this from pixabay.com. It's a great site. It gives you free images and you can use them for commercial use. The ink I'm going to use is Winsor Newton ink. It's the black Indian ink and it's waterproof when dry. There are lots of black inks, but some of them, don't stay waterproof when you put the wash over them. This one's got shellac in it, and it's number 951. Then I'm going to use this brilliant bamboo dip-in pen. I tried it out earlier, and it gives a really lovely, ragged, unpredictable line with a lot of character. So I really like that. So this drawing is going to be very loose. I'm not going to take my time over it because I'm anxious to get the shape of the boat down. I'll just put my tonal map there that I've used. I've created in Adobe Photoshop to help me with the lights, the mids and the darks, and there's actually a half tone in there, so there's 4 tones altogether to help me when I come to the painting side of it. So for now, I'm just going to get on with this drawing. I want to position the boat so not totally central. I'll tell you what, let's get the horizon line in there first. Yeah. Okay, so that'll make me not put the boat too centrally. Where the boat is on the shore, it's sort of in the shadows. It's in amongst a lot of seaweed and things, and gravel and stuff like that. So it's not really visible, and I'll be putting a lot of shadow into that. Okay, so the cabin comes up to about there. It's got a bit of an angle. And the first window is a panel, and that's the front. And then there's the side. It's got a bit of an overhang roof. I just want to put some of these sort of poles and lines and things. I'm going to put sort of a suggestion of distant headland there. Something coming in from that side. Window's quite narrow there. With this, you get unequal amounts of ink on the nib, which I quite like. There's a bit of a black shadow in there, so I'm going to get that in now. I like that. I like the shape of that. Actually, this protrudes a bit further like that. So I'm going to really blacken all of this. I don't know any boat terminology, by the way, so sorry if I'm sort of saying the wrong words, but so the front, then the prow, is it, or the bow of the boat. I'm doing it in that dark India ink. And a lot of the windows are blackened out. Let's just have another bit of rigging or something for argument's sake. And I'm just going to suggest, so there's the sea, so then we'll have the shore here as a third line, so 1, 2, 3 lines. and ragged there. Might even have another little suggestion of a sort of skiff or a boat or something there, just with its mast sort of tilting to sort of echo the main. Could even put a sail on it, couldn't you? To echo the main boat here, have a bit of repetition. And then there's that thing there, RX. I don't want this to be too readable, so I'm making my writing really bad because I don't want that to be the focal point. Okay, that's really as rough as I can go with that. I haven't taken any care really, because I'm just itching to get the colour washes on top of this and see what happens. I'm just really mushing all this black into the ground, this cast shadow, and then anchoring it to the gravelly foreground. I think also I might just fancy doing a little bit of, if I can manage it, spatter with this. Yeah, just a few. I'm going to tap it, yeah, like that. Just get a few inky splashes. Just tapping the side of the bamboo, and I'm going to put a seagull in, why not? Let's have a few birds. Funny little shapes, you know. And they just add a little bit of atmosphere. Maybe there's a fish, a boat sort of fishing out and they're catching some fish. So there's my basic little drawing. I'm going to rinse this straight away, because I think that's going to stain the nib quite a lot. Not that it matters, but I just want to get the excess off, you know. So I've just given that a little swirl. Right, so now I'm just going to pause the camera, and then I'm going to start with some washes. Okay, back in a sec. Hi, so for those of you who've been watching a couple of my videos lately, this is my palette with a couple of new colours on that I treated myself to. I'm just going to moisten them with a bit of water. I should have moistened them a few days ago. They've gone a little bit too dry. I'm always telling people who come to my class to moisten their paints, and then I forget to do it myself. So keep them moist so that they don't go like the Sahara Desert and they don't get that custard skin forming on them, okay? So I'm just going to play around with this and just go impulsively, if I zoom out, impulsively with some washes. So I'm just going to pick up some Maimeriblu. This is a Sennelier paint. It's a very happy blue. Now, I must say that some of this black ink has not dried completely, okay? So I'm putting it on knowing that it will probably bleed in some places, and I'm happy with that. Let's cut a bit of blue through the windows. With pen and wash, I think the overall thing is you can put the washes on quite, you know, erratically, because of course you've drawn your shape. You've drawn your image, and so the wash is just an addition. It's not really necessary to spell out. And so say here, you know, where I've sort of missed the whole top of the cabin and in between the masts and a bit of the sky, you know, that's okay, why not? I'm looking at my tonal map, and the sky there has got a lighter piece here, then it's sort of mid-tone there, and I've got some really dark clouds there. So I'm just going to try and get those in now. By adding a darker blue. This is Indanthrene blue, and Mayen blue. This is a Daniel Smith colour, sorry. And this is very strong. So I'm just going to put some of those in and then repeat. So there's a big cloud bank coming from the left-hand side. Let's just take some of that down over the headland there. And so I just want a bit of repetition, so, and organic shapes. Okay, so there's some darker blue going on. I just want to soften that off in places, so moist brush. This is a filbert, by the way. This is, yeah, see that mast was not quite dry, so of course that's giving me a sort of bit of a splodge. Don't know if I like it there actually, but there we are. Some accidents are good, some accidents are not so good. And now I want to lift out with a dry tissue, sort of this paler area in the sky. Let's see if I can get some of it back. Now, I didn't wet the paper, as you noticed, I just went straight in onto dry paper, so it's not going to lift out as well as it would if I'd wet the paper first. The paper's grabbing hold of that Sondra blue quite tightly. It's giving me some back. So in order to make this palish area look paler, I'm going to have to go darker with the blue because it's not contrasting enough for me. So let's get a few more patches of blue in amongst that, just to push the white. Because if you paint something dark next to something light, there'll be more contrast. Okay, that's a bit better. All right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of spatter into that, like that. Lovely. Okay, now I want to work on the foreground, which will be warm. Let's have some Indian yellow and maybe some Tisane. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous, right? Some Tisane red. This is a Maimeriblu colour. The Indian yellow is Winsor Newton. So this is a very warm colour, obviously, for the gravel and the shale that the boat is on. Okay, I'm leaving the sea for a second. I'm just going intuitively. Right, and there's some really dark shadow now on this side. So I'm going to go for some rose ultramarine. There it is. Rose ultramarine. Let's drag it up into the bow or whatever this bit is, so it bleeds in. And then drag it out and drag a cast shadow from that tiny little boat in the distance as well. Take it off the paper. Then I'm going to push that up into the right hand side of the boat a little bit there as well. Okay, I'm just going to rinse my brush. Right, so the boat itself is a turquoise blue, but I think I fancy having this as the colour on the side of the boat. So this is the yellow and the Tisane red again. So I'll have the colour here. This is the colour. Oh, and I'll go through that, the lettering. I'm leaving a white sort of streak. There's a white part to the hull. It changes colour. And I think I'll have the cabin this colour as well, and the roof. But I think the gunnels, I think that's the right word, they'll be darker. So I'm just going to leave those as they are. Right, again, what I need to do now is darken some areas of the shale and the sand. So just added a bit of indanthrene blue to that Indian yellow. And the Tisane Tisano rose. So I'm just doing a few sort of like streaky patches just to give a bit of texture in the foreground here, to sort of lead the eye into the boat and then out to the cast shadow. Then I'm on a shadow side on this part of the cabin. This is the darker part of it. So that same sort of colour as I used in the shale for the shadow side of the cabin. And the hull is in shadow here. And then it's sort of, there's a shadow under the gunnel there, but it is lighter there. Just adding some more shadow to that one there. So I'm going to lift out a highlight here on the sunniest part. As you can see, the sunniest part of the boat is there, and the cabin is sunlit. But the shadows are all over that side, coming from underneath where it's black anyway, and then the cast shadow of the boat is there. So let's lift out a highlight now. So thirsty brush, just going to lift out there. So I've taken a highlight there, and I think I'll take out a highlight on the cabin as well, just for a bit more contrast. So I'll take out the highlight there. Just keep pressing in and see if you can dislodge some more of that orange there. Okay, so for the distant hills now, let's go for a moon glow. This is Daniel Smith, Moon Glow. Oh, it's not strong enough. It's a bit too runny. Right, so this is just a sort of lovely muted purple. and there's some headland over on this right hand side as well. I'm really tempted to leave the sea white, actually. Why not? You know, it doesn't have to be blue just because it is blue. I'm sort of quite liking that at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is stop with the paint, and I'm going to come back in with the pen and ink, because in some places now the painting will be moist or damp or dry. So I'm just going to take a risk and come back in and start putting some marks again with this, and see if I can get some of the ink to flood, you know, give me some more drama, or just to build up some more detail there. And maybe I might put a few little tiny ticks, you know, to suggest the glistening on the sea. So just some tiny little marks there. I don't want them to look too stylized. Yeah, so I'm putting a lot more of this shadow ink here, and cast shadow, building it up on this left hand side a lot more. It's not flooding as much as I thought it would actually, but I want it to be wider on this left hand side, this shadow. Let's just have a few more sort of strokes and streaks here. I'm going to lead your eye in now with some sort of caprice movements like that, some little whimsical diagonal sort of in zigzag, so it takes your eye, you know, sort of to the boat, hopefully not too obviously, but we want a direction in there, you know. So let's have a couple more larger birds. Right now that's bled a little bit too big because the sky is wetter than I thought there, so to counteract that I'm going to have to put a few more in so that that doesn't look too out of place. Okay, so again, this is just all free play, messing about. I want to darken these gunnels actually, so I'll just darken these with a pure Indian ink, right, and leave a little streak of white in between that and the orange of the boat. Not the best boat shape in the world, sorry, but there we are. It's just playtime, and I was just literally wanting to do this for 15 minutes or so. So I just had fun doing that. What you can do as well now is just leave that to dry totally, and then come in and add some additional washes and just see what you get. So it's endless, you know, but I just wanted to try out the ink and see what it did. So let me zoom in. I hope you have fun, you know, trying something like that yourself. A simple subject and have a go. So I'll just zoom in on there a little bit. So overall, I just sort of, it's a bit of a fun, atmospheric practice piece. Okay, thanks for watching.